Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today's Product in Action webinar presentation, 5 time-saving tips for patent searching. I'm Gail Martin, Associate Marketing Manager at LexisNexis IP, and I want to cover a couple things before we get started. Please feel free to submit your questions during this webinar by using the Q&A feature on the console. Also, you can download some collateral in the GoToWebinar panel, and a link to today's presentation will also be sent to you. Now I'd like to introduce today's presenter, Allison Espasto. Allison is the Customer Adoption Specialist for LexisNexis IP. She is a training and product adoption expert specializing in SaaS technologies. Allison has extensive experience demonstrating product value and integration with 10+ years of end user training and onboarding and new hire onboarding. Additionally, she has 10+ years of research experience focusing on the areas of product usage, patents, legal, news, business, and public records. Thank you again, everyone, for attending today's presentation. And with that, I will turn it over to you, Allison.
Great, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my Total Patent One here. And like she said, so Gail said, we're going to focus on 5 areas that Total Patent One can help save you time in your research. And we're going to put up a quick poll just to see kind of where everybody is at. So if you don't mind, get back into your GoToMeeting panel and let us know how many of you are currently using a paid patent research tool. And that should pop up for you soon. We'll just give everybody a few minutes to get that answered. All right, so it looks like overwhelmingly everybody is, so that's great that we're kind of all starting from the basics of what the tools have. So the first thing that I'm going to start with is talking about our authority list and how that can help save you time. So for anybody, that percentage of you that is not using a paid service, we have 107 authorities. 32 of them are full text for us. And I'm going to open up this little globe here. So this is where you're going to see our full list of authorities. And the huge advantage to having all these authorities in one place is that it saves you a ton of time. You don't have to go to multiple websites, whether you're going to the USPTO, EPO. Those are all here for you to search at once. Our authority selection also allows you to chunk them out. So our major full text authorities, you're just looking in the US and China. You just want to check EP, WO. You can set these up and they're all presets for you so that you're not having to check and uncheck boxes every time. If you know that once you get in here, what you're mostly checking, again, is let's say just China and US, you can set that as your authorities list in here and it updates for you so that every time you get in, then you're not having to check boxes. We're just presetting for you what your most important authorities are. One thing I'll also point out as it comes to our authorities, under the I here, this is all the help options for Total Patent One. So inside of the tool, we are very open about our data coverage. So you can click in and see exactly what we have from what authorities, roughly how often they're updating, how far back our archive goes, what types of documents we have. So you can be crystal clear on what it is you're searching when you're in the tool. So let me go back and reset my authorities here. We'll just search in all. And then let's start talking about our second time-saving tool inside of Total Patent One, which is our objects. So when you're in Total Patent One, there's 2 ways to craft a search. One is with all boolean. If you know the full list of connectors and fields that you want to search by and you're a very advanced researcher, you can absolutely come in here and craft a really complicated search. But for most searchers, especially as you get in and start learning new tools, you may be less familiar with what our fields are, how they work. So we've built out objects that really help you quickly craft a search. All of our objects are grouped by like things, so they're all very easy to access. Parts of the document are all grouped together, so title, abstract, claims, combinations of those. We do break out parts of the claim separately, so searching out first or independent. It's really easy to get to. We do a ton of work around assignee name variations. We'll kind of backtrack into some of these and how these objects help save you some time, but you can see we have the variations there as well. Dates or calendars for us to select from. The legal status is all various objects that you can get in and tie searches to, as well as classes here. So IPC, CPC searches are available as well. So if you're searching, let's say again, the claims, you can get in here and you can see that the object easily populates for you. I can type in my search terms into that box, and I can start adding these objects together. So if I just want to search that within a certain publication, either before, after, I can give it a date range, and we can go back and let's say, well, I'm just searching in the last 5 years here. And you can see how that helps you essentially block together your search quickly without having to dig through user manuals or try to remember a bunch of fields for us. So that's one type of searching. Again, searching in the document, searching by date. I'm going to clear this out for us. And let's start talking about some of the ways that our objects help you with assignee name searches. So in Total Patent 1, we have various places in the document that we're keeping track of the name, of course. So all for us is searching the current or the original name. It's the most inclusive way of running a company name search. We do just have the ability to search the original assignee, just searching the current, and then we are actually doing a lot of name standardization and normalization, which is really helpful, especially when you're searching for larger companies. So what happens for us in standardized is that we have a machine that's grouping name variations together. So accounting for things like, did they include periods or commas? Is there an uppercase ink or lowercase? Those types of things we're including together so that you're not having to account for them in your search. The next step for us is normalized. So our top 6,000 companies are normalized, and that's a manual way of grouping those name variations together. So large companies you're looking at, IBM, Apple, those are going to be normalized and there'll be one option for you. So when you're using our assignee name objects in here, what we've given you is predictive text. So I can come in here and say, looking for Align Technologies, and the predictive text is actually cataloged in the original name list here, all of the variations for the name. So I can come in here and add them just by clicking on the plus sign into my search. I can account for things that may be typoed, Align Technologies. I can look and kind of see how the variations show up, make sure I'm accounting for all of those in here. So it's nice and easy way of kind of adding that into your search and uncovering how they have put their name on their documents. Same thing happens, of course, if you're in standardized. So seeing how we have standardized their name and being able to add in that version. And again, we can just add the box in here as well. So I don't see any questions yet, but again, as Gail said, please feel free to pop any questions into the chat box and we can go through and start talking about some of those in here as well. Let me go back and add in my search here. Let's say I'm looking at, actually do a full text search for us. And the next thing we're going to talk about is easy ways that we're giving you to navigate your search results. So we are looking at your search in split screen mode right now with the results list. So I can see how many results that I've come back with, and I can start easily narrowing my search down. I can either add in additional objects if I want to look at date now. Those are all available to me here, and I can again look at them in split screen mode. But one of our big time savers, and the next thing we're going to talk about, are filters. So that's this funnel that you see here. And again, you can see this side by side with your results list. And this is a way that we're giving you to essentially internet shop through your results list. There's a lot of key things here that you can just check the box to navigate and narrow your results down by. First thing is going to be legal status. So we are keeping track of the ultimate legal status of a document. Is there an application but no grant? Is there a grant? Did they continue to pay maintenance fees on that grant? So the ceased is tracking express abandonments within the document. So you can get in and click down to that. We have a couple of date options, so publication year. There's also application and priority year available. You can see by authority. So maybe you don't want to necessarily change your authorities list, but you just want to look at US. This is an easy way to get in and start narrowing the result set. Class is available as filters as well, so CPC and IPC. The CPC, we're actually going to also break out for you what the class is. You can see the outline of the CPC as you get in here. So if you're unfamiliar with what H04N5-22224 is, it'll pop up that outline for you here as well. Application year, priority year, and then assignee and inventors are here as well. So who are the top players in this? Who are some inventor names that you may want to additionally start running in your search? And then patent type. So are there design patents in here? And then apps versus grants. So that's our filtering capability. Again, helping you kind of get down and easily narrow your search results. And the next thing that we're going to talk about is ways that you can customize export template reports in Total Patent 1. And this is one of our newer features we're excited to sort of talk about here. This cloud export is how you get things out of Total Patent 1. And we have a lot of formatting options in here. So CSV and Excel are going to be your data-driven options. It's a great way for you to customize and go through your result sets and share them in a really functional manner. We do have 45 different fields for you to populate in your Excel spreadsheets, as well as some of our display language options, which we'll talk about. And that does include the clipped image, so those can be exported as well. When you're in here, you just select the box for whatever you want included in your export, and then column 3 allows you to drag and drop those, and that dictates the order that those columns appear in your spreadsheet. So you can customize not only the data that's there, but the order that it appears based off of what your particular needs are for that search. Now, what we've added is the ability for you to create templates around your export. So setting all of this up can take a second for you to get through and do. Saving a template allows you to come in and say, okay, well, this is going to be my search. And I can save that template. And now the next time I come in here, I don't have to go through, reset my format, reset my fields, reset their order. I can actually just come back in and load a template. Let's say, well, here's my Excel template. And it re-evaluates, it puts in the format, it puts in column 2 and column 3 back in my order. So it's just a great way for you to set up reports based off of the uses that you have in Total Patent 1 and get your exports out that way. Now, our other formatting options that we have are Word and PDF, of course. We do have an XML. You have the ability to talk to Patent Optimizer. So anybody who has Patent Optimizer, it's a great, easy way for you to run searches in Total Patent 1 and then export them into Patent Optimizer Analytics. What I'll point out while we're in here is that for both our display language option in Word, which is the English machine translated version, as well as the display language option for PDF, so again, that English machine translated version, you have the ability to customize them in the same way you do an Excel spreadsheet. One of the huge advantages to that is A, you can set up whatever data you want, but it adds into here things that are post-grant data points that would not be part of the original publication. So things like legal status, forward site, those can all be added into the PDF export. Additionally, you can customize the order that that data is laid out in the PDF. So if you're going to go through it first based off of the abstract and then the claims, and then you want a company name, however you want that to order in the document view, you can. This can also be saved as a template, so your display language options can go as templates. And one of the huge advantages that you can do here is to export as a single file. That's another, I think, huge advantage over the original documents. Sometimes you just need the original documents, and those will all come out you can export those here as well. But the single file option in the display language will give you one PDF document that you can then scan through. So instead of having to open up different files or try to navigate and share large data sets that way, it's a much easier way of going through the data. So I'm going to pause there for just a second and again ask, are there any questions about our export template?
Hi, Allison.
Yes.
Do you see there are a couple of questions on the screen? Are you able to see that, or would you like me to read them to you?
I am sorry. No, I was not seeing those. It was scrolled up to the top. So let me get back to the top here. So if I enter an object search and then click the object search button, yes, will it translate the search to boolean? Sorry, this is not scrolling. Gail, it's not scrolling for me. So like it cuts off at boolean, and if I scroll, it takes me to the next question. Are you able to see the full question? I'm sorry, I'm not.
I am. Yes, I am. So I'll read the question out. If I enter an object search and then click the object search button to off, will it translate that search into Boolean so I can start to learn the Boolean terminology and syntax?
Absolutely, it does. So let me get back to the search here, and I'll pull this back out. So you can see I do have an object search here. If I turn it off, it shows you exactly what it would look like if I had typed all that out myself. And that's a key reason, is that you can learn it. Also, you can add in additional fields that maybe don't have objects, so it's a nice way to play around with your search. And it goes the other way as well. So if you have objects off, you start typing things, you turn it off, it'll translate it into an object search.
Would you like me to read the next one?
Yes, let's see. Go, can you please?
Sure. How do you filter to before 2001 priority without clicking 25 boxes?
So if you're filtering for multiple things in that fashion, my recommendation would be to add it to your search. And as you're looking at a search, your search and the filters are all split screen with your results. So as you see from the filters that maybe there's 10, 20 years that you want to filter by, you can come back into here and just add that into your search. But right now you would have to click all of the boxes by year. So my recommendation would be to add that to your search.
And another question is, how would you export the search into Patent Optimizer?
That's a great question. So from here, you're just going to select the Patent Optimizer option in the dropdown, and then it will take you out to the Patent Optimizer analytics. So that's where it's sending you to. It's not sending you to the regular check claims, check parts. It's sending all of those results to Patent Optimizer so that you can break them down into the various filters that are part of the Patent Optimizer analytics. So if I just clicked export here, it would sort of walk us through getting that pulled up. Please share any tips on the keywords we need to use if I am not able to find prior art. That is a question I would say maybe we could take offline, and I can put my information up as well, or have Gail send that out afterwards, and we can set up a training session. That would depend on the prior art that you are searching for, and my typical recommendation is that if you start with a class, that may help you figure out how in the art they're actually talking about, which piece you're concerned about, and then you can sort of back up and build a search out of that. So starting with a class is always a good way to go when you're not sure what keywords you want to be using. But I'm absolutely happy to take that question offline. Everybody gets as much access to me and my counterpart when they sign a contract with Total Patent One. So we do have a lot of search help that comes with the tool as well. And Gail, let's see, can you show us how to enter year before you show how to enter the search field before 2015? So I think what you're asking is just, how do we add the date So the date object is here, publication, application, or priority year. And so it dates before, dates after, or you have a date range. So before 2015, I could in here, so I could select through the calendar, or I can come in here and just edit this. And let's say we wanted 01. And then that'll pull for you. There's another question that's in search as opposed to filter. I think that I answered that, and thanks. Okay. So I apologize, Gail. I told you I was okay with the questions, but they're just not cycling for me. So if you can keep me updated on the questions, I would appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So can you show us how the similarity search functionality works? So I can. Let me get back into a search. So similarity search is something that's happening inside of documents. And it's a natural part of what's happening. So you don't have to do anything special to get it to work. It is just part of every single document. And what we're doing is we're comparing titles and abstracts on the back end. So we have 130 plus million documents in our database, 131 million to be closer to exact there. And it's allowing you to expand out your research without you having to craft a more like this. So it actually lives at the bottom of all of the documents now. Let me scroll down here, and you do have to open it up. But once you get it open, you'll see the similar documents listed in here. And again, that's just based off of a title and abstract search in our databases. Let's see, are Swiss documents covered in our database? I do believe so, but let me go back and check that one more time. It's hard to memorize all 107 authorities, but I'm pretty sure that Swiss is there. Yep, there we go. We are there. All right. So the last thing that I wanted to show you as far as a time saver goes is our alert functionality. And from a search, you can set up an alert. We have a couple of ways that you can set up alerts. So if you check a box of a given document, you will get the ability to set up an alert on that document. And that's create an alert based off of selection. What I want to be clear on is what we have in Total Patent 1. So Total Patent 1 has published apps and grants. We do not have the prosecution data. So we're not alerting you to the fact that there's a new office action in a particular case. What we would alert you to are to mostly legal status type updates and new forward sites. So we're looking for new family members. We are looking for new forward sites. We're looking for reassignments and fee payments. So those are the types of things that we can keep you updated on an individual document level. And it just runs the search however often you ask it, and it sends you emails with those updates. We also have an alert based off of query. So something like this, I need to keep on top of prior art, or I need to keep on top of competitive intelligence. I'm looking for a specific company. I'm looking for a set of companies, and you can run those searches, and then that is going to be an alert based off of your query. The alert functionality just keeps you from having to rerun searches, remembering that once a month you want to look at this company, or once a month you want to look at this class. It's going to do it for you, and it's going to send you emails with the new hits. And the best thing about the alert is that it is only giving you the new stuff. So you don't have to worry about what have I seen before or adding in date ranges to your searches. That defaults as part of the alert. So you know you're only getting things you haven't seen before. With alerts, you can tell us however often you want them to run, and this is highly customizable. So if you're running them daily, you can tell us what time of day you want it to run, weekly, what day of the week, and what time of the day, and same thing with monthly, what day of the month you want it to run and at what time. You can elect to receive your alerts by email or not, so you can access the results from inside of the tool. If you do set up alerts, you can have multiple, or excuse me, if you do set up by email, you can have multiple people receiving the same email. So if there's one person in the office that wants to set up the alert and 5 people need to access the same result set, that is an option in here. We just separate their email addresses with semicolons. We also have a lot of customization around what the export is around an alert. And so we talked a lot about those in export. Here, you can elect to have your results in the body of the email or an attachment or both. And subsequently, all of the customization that went into the exports is part of your alert attachment. So what type of file do you want? Excel, PDF, Word. And then you can customize the fields that are here and the order of those fields. So everything that we could do in a regular export, that could be part of the alert so that you don't have to get back into the tool and reformat the results that are hitting on a given schedule. Once you set up your alerts, they do live in the tool, so they can be paused or edited or deleted as necessary. The pause feature is very nice because we will rerun them back to the last state. So you won't miss anything. If you go on vacation, you just don't want 5 emails sitting in your inbox. We can re-execute it once you get back. You can have multiple people receiving them. And then you can also come back and re-access the alert results from inside of the tool. So that allows you to say, well, I just want to go back to the specific run. And you can see how far back you can go to these runs. Pull them through the tool and go through them as if they are a results list in Total Patent 1. So it's another functionality that you have as to how you want to navigate some of these. The settings in alerts are also fully customizable or editable. So you can go back in and change the search. You have a set of companies, somebody spins off a piece of their business, or they inherit, they buy a new competitor, you can get that search changed to reflect that without having to recreate the alert. You can also change the schedule it's running on and who's receiving it. Okay, I think there's a couple more questions. Let's see. Gail, do you see those?
Yeah, there's one more that I haven't been able to answer, which is, you mentioned that there's no prosecution data. Does that mean I can't see any information on apps or patents that are rejected by or rejecting a particular patent or app?
So we have the application. We have the publication of the application. So whatever the citations are at the time that it published, whatever would be printed on the front of that, we have those as part of the backward sites of a document. But we don't have the office action, for example, in Total Patent 1. So don't know if everybody's familiar. We have a tool called Patent Advisor where all of the pair data lives. We would have it there, but it's not part of Total Patent 1. So we just have the published applications and what would have been in that application. So whatever data was in there at that time that it published. Once the grant comes out, we will have the grant, and as the citations on the front of the document have changed, we would know that, but that's only if it gets to the grant stage. Hopefully that answered the question.
I think you're up to date now. Oh, yeah,
okay.
Thanks, Des.
All right, so any other questions? That's the 5 sort of time-saving tips that I had. So going over, again, we do have 107 authorities keeping you from going to multiple countries and searching. We talked about quickly crafting searches with objects. We talked about how filters can help you navigate your results quickly, and then setting up export templates keeps you from having to recreate report formatting, and the alerts keep you from having to rerun searches. So any last questions on Total Patent 1? All right, well, seeing none, I will say thank you all so much for your time. I'm going to put up the slides one more time. So if you have any questions about anything we talked about today, or anything that you want to go over or talk more about accessing Total Patent 1, Morgan is who you're going to reach out to. I think her contact information will also be sent to you as a follow-up. So she'd be happy to go over any other questions that you have or route you to me if we have anything else you'd like to follow up on.
Thanks.
And with that, I'll say, go ahead. There you go.
Thanks, Allison. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for attention and for all your questions. Oh, one more question just came in. It says, can you show us how to combine searches so you can eliminate documents you already looked at?
Yes, I'd be happy to do that. Let me get out of this here. So you combine searches from your history, and that's the clock up here at the top. And there's a couple of ways to do that, depending on how many searches you're trying to combine. So if you're combining 3 or 4 sets of results, you just check the boxes, and then you would click the star icon. That will run them together, and it allows you to customize running them together as either an or a not. If you do have just 2 searches that you want to combine, we do have a Venn diagram option. So that's this button here. So I'll click on that and we'll look through it. And that actually shows you what the overlaps and the outliers are. Oops, I have to go back and do that one more time. Check the wrong boxes. Sorry, it allows you to see the overlap and the outliers in the various searches that you looked at. And then you can click into the various pieces and go through them separately. You can also file them into work folders separately. So it's an easy way of you to sort of keep track of what you had looked at before versus what you're looking at now.
Great, thank you so much. Are there any last questions? You can slip one in. Otherwise, we'll be happy to give all of you some of your day back. And I want to say thank you again to Allison for presenting.